fortifications are under attack. Our fortifications are under attack.
Recently, while browsing Steam for some games I might be interested in streaming or making videos on, I came across a demo for a game called Diplomacy is Not an Option. I don't play any tactical top-down management games like this, but I've had some fun watching streamers play some of them like They Are Billions or Age of Empires 4, so after seeing the artwork and the video on Steam, I decided to give it a try. And I'm glad I did, because even though there really isn't much content here, you'll probably cap off your research in roughly 20 minutes to play and be doing nothing but growing a larger wall around your fort. I found myself playing the game for like almost 5 hours. Keep in mind, this is a demo with like the bare bones needed to show you what the game is intended to be at launch. I was really surprised it caught my attention the way it did, and if it wasn't for me wanting to make a video on it, I probably would have played another 5-ish hours trying to beat my high score of 21 days survived. The game mode we try in the demo is Endless Mode, which is basically the premise of They Are Billions but never ending. Also, instead of zombies, you get smelly, rebel-rousing peasants upset with you over something. At this point, what does it matter? If you're holding a sign with a crown that has an X through it, you're a traitor in my eyes, okay? You get 4 days to start building up your empire, and eventually, near the end of the 4th day, you receive word of where they plan on attacking from, and a timer counts down to their march on your castle. After that, every 3 days, this happens again with more and more traitorous serfs coming out of the woodwork to destroy what's yours. In the meantime, though, there's a limited city management part of the game that I think at the full release has my hopes to be deep and interesting. At the time of the demo, there seems to be a large research tree, but most of it's locked with only 3 branches available, and you can unlock them rather quickly. The choices to build also were slim, but they're easy to understand and scale. When it comes to what you manage in the game, those are going to be people, food, wood, and stone for the demo, with what looks like iron and gold in the future. If you want to build anything that will be producing for you, you're going to need people to run it, and to train as soldiers. Every day you're going to need to feed the people in your town and keep up with the demand of the next day. Wood is used for almost every form of building, and stone, well, it's mildly useful in some buildings. Once you get the hang of what's needed to start getting your town thriving, it's kind of hard to fail management-wise. You'll eventually realize that you just need to spam wood mills, as you're going to need a bunch of it to fortify your city. And the stone is easy, as you can just get like 1 mine and produce enough to get what you need at any time. Food also can be pretty easily scalable and forgotten. If you get a bunch of fishing spots and porters next to them to transport with a granary nearby to store the fish, you're set. Though you're only going to be set for a while, as there are mechanics in the game that doesn't allow you to just set and forget these spots. Like the fishing spot, it's eventually going to run out of fish. The stone mines, they're going to run out of stone, and the forest is going to get removed over time near your lumber mills. As you expand, you're going to have to actually expand where you're getting your resources from, which I enjoy because it keeps you from just setting up a great beginning and forgetting about it till late game. You'll start out with everything snugly near your castle, but as time goes on, you're going to branch out and have a thriving city, which I think is satisfying to look at. Right now, what I think the main draw of the game will be is its They Are Billions-esque large-scale waves of enemies to prepare for. You're limited in your options for defending yourself during the demo, so expect to be overwhelmed easily. I had a lot of fun rushing to prepare for the waves once I knew where they were coming from, frantically building walls after building some in the wrong directions from a guess, noticing my wood is a lot lower than I thought it was because I've deforested the vast majority of what's nearby, so now it's coming in at a trickle. Planning is really going to help you out because, from my experience, if you learn a wave is coming in a direction later and you haven't prepared for an attack there, you're probably dead. That's what happened to me as I was planning for an attack from the bottom, but ended up getting the biggest wave I've seen so far coming from the top left. One complaint I currently have with the combat in the game is how weak the warriors are. The archers and catapults just completely out DPS them by miles, and their HP it just doesn't seem high enough for a unit made to fight melee. Next go around, I'm probably just going to ignore melee altogether and just try and go defensive and stack archers and catapults, because warriors currently kind of seem like a waste of resources. I also just in general found myself a bit annoyed with my little men's AI. They would path to areas I told them to in weird, longer than needed directions, or get stuck on something and I'd have to repath them. Overall though, it's some pretty minor gripes, and I think they could be fixed before release. So as I was working on the script, I actually saw that there was a new update put out for the demo that I played a bit before I ended up finishing this up. So to be honest, I kind of prefer the endless mode. The new demo has this objective now where you need to survive for 4 waves and kill all of the peasants that are on the map currently. The map seems much smaller than before, and those first 3 waves of enemies are pretty easy, and I tried my hardest not to kill a vast majority of the people camped out on the map, because I thought it would be pretty fun to have them kind of swarm all there at the end, but it ended up being kind of lackluster. It wasn't very challenging. I think that's okay though, because at the end of the day, this is just a demo, and I do think it was a good way to demonstrate the way you'll actually be playing the game when it comes to its campaign. There were also a few new changes in the demo, such as the removal of the engineering guild, so you could only have the single catapult, and porters are now just not a thing. All of your buildings that produce things like the mill or the mine, they just automatically bring that stuff to a location for you. There was also a major overhaul in the voice acting that I kind of skipped past before my next pass here during this new demo. Beforehand, the people that were voiced in the game kind of just sounded like the programmers making quips into a microphone, but it seems like they were able to hire some more professional voice acting, and it sounds pretty decent. It's much better than it was before. Those quips had their charm, but I gotta be honest, I was a bit sick after 5 hours of the guy who talks when you move your catapult, so thankfully that's just gone. You just hear like the creaking of the catapult and such. Sounds fine. Even though I prefer the endless mode, I think the level of polish the new demo shows make this a lot easier of a sell for someone trying it out for the first time. And I mean, if anyone misses the endless mode, I'm sure there's going to be a version in the game when it hits full release. I'm going to be wishlisting the game, and I think you should too. Once full release comes out, I'm going to try and see if I can make another video to see if this kind of lived up to the hype that I felt when I was looking through the development blog.